Now we will start discussing hello world job. So you might have seen hello world job in your Java. It is just what 3 lines of code, but here it is 3 days of program. You know that. So let's start first that initial flow chart of that map reduce and everything. Then we will see actual programming. Just keep a heading. Now see this one. Step 1. Step 1. Step 1. Creating a file. Creating a file. Generally, where we have to create our file? Where we have to create our file? In local file system only, right? How to create a file? By using cat command or va editor, or else by using touch command. So just let me take it as by using cat command. Cat greater than file dot txt I'm giving. Cat greater than file dot txt I'm giving. So I'll give some text here. Hi, how are you? How is your job? How is your family? Just say that. Next, what is time now and what is the strength of Hadoop? And finally, how to exit from this, how to save this one, and how to exit from this. What to do? CTRL plus D to save and exiting, to exit, to save and to exit from this. To save and to exit from this, we have to give control plus D. Next, see this one. Step number 2. Step number 2. Once after creating this file, what we have to do? Once we are creating this file, what we have to do? I'll put this file into HDFS. How to put this file from local file system to HDFS? Okay, so loading file.txt from local file system to HDFS. Loading file from local file system to HDFS. So how to load that file? Hadoop space fs space hyphen put, or else you can use hyphen copy from local also, or else you can use hyphen move from local also. I'll give, what is that file name here? File.txt. File.txt. And I'll give some file name as what? File in this HDFS. Now this file will be taken as your HDFS file name. Content will be just copied into this file, but file name is what? File only. Next, this is what second step. Step number 3. Once after loading this file into HDFS, what we have to do now? Once after loading this file into HDFS, what we have to do now? We have seen client is communicating with what? Client is contacting with name node to keep your file into data nodes. Once after loading your data into data nodes, what we have to do? You have to process that. If you wanted to process that, do we need to write some program or not? Either that program may be either Java program, any other scripting language, or any query languages, or any NoSQL database language, whatever it may be. You have to write some program. So just keep third point, third step, writing programs. Writing programs. Writing programs. Okay. Observe here. I'll give 3 programs. Okay, 3 Java programs. Observe here. Driver code dot Java. Mapper code dot Java. Finally, reducer code dot Java. reducer code dot java, mapper code driver code dot java, mapper code dot java, and reducer code dot java. Okay, this is what third step. Now fourth step, step number 4. What I have to do after writing these 3 Java programs? Generally you are creating Java program. Next you have to compile that. So how to compile that Java program? See this one, compiling all above .java files. Now see, I'm giving here something like this, java c space hyphen class path, java c space hyphen class path space, I'll give dollar Hadoop underscore home, everything is capital letter only, slash Hadoop hyphen core dot jar space start dot java, java c space hyphen class path space dollar Hadoop underscore home, this should be under capital letters only, with capital letters only, slash Hadoop hyphen core dot jar space start dot java. See this one, sir, why we are keeping this Hadoop hyphen code dot jar? You know, Hadoop is a framework, right? So we are going to use plenty of interfaces, abstract classes, and what? Concrete classes in these 3 classes. So your compiler should recognize all those predefined classes, interface, and abstract classes. So how can that compiler can recognize all your classes and what? Interfaces and concrete classes, because of this core hyphen Hadoop hyphen code dot jar. Because of taking that only, all your predefined classes will be, which you are importing in your class, will be identified automatically. Okay, step number 5. Step number 5. Step number 5. After compilation, what will be given? After compilation, dot class files will be given. So now I have to create some jar file by keeping all those dot class files. I told you already, Hadoop can run only jar file. It doesn't know how to run other things. How your Java is running only dot class files, this Hadoop is also just running dot jar files only. Okay, so I have to create jar file. How to create jar file we will see. Creating, next step is what? Creating jar file. Creating jar file. Generally how to create jar file? Jar space cvf space, I'll give some jar file name as test dot jar. It should be with dot jar extension. It should be with dot jar extension. Jar space cvf space test dot jar. What I wanted to keep in that jar file? I wanted to keep all my dot class files. So I'll give star dot class. Why I am giving star dot class? All dot class files will be taken if you are giving what? Star dot class. Next, step number 6. Next, step number 6. Step number 6. Now I have created jar file. Then what I have to do? I have to run that one. So running above test dot jar on file, which is there in HDFS. Which is there in HDFS, right or wrong? That file is there in your HDFS, right? Generally, on which file you wanted to run your program? Which file you have to run your program? The file which you are keeping in your HDFS. What is that file name that you are keeping in HDFS? File only, right? Now I have to run this jar file on your file which is there in your HDFS. Fine. So how to run that one? Hadoop space jar space, what is the jar file? Test.jar space, I'll give, what is your, out of these 3 classes, one class only will have main method. Other 2 classes will never have any more main method. Generally your program is running because of having main method, or else you have to take what? Static blocks. But here we are nowhere else, we are going to discuss about what? Static blocks. We are just discussing about what? Main method. So in this driver code only you are taking what? Main method. So that main method class only you must give here. What is that? Driver code space, I'll give, what is your file name? HDFS file name, file. I wanted to give some output directory as what? Test output. Test output I am giving. Test output I am giving. Test output I am giving. Okay. So can somebody say what is there in this jar file now? 3 .class files are there. If suppose if you are running this command without giving this class, you may be getting some doubt. Sir, why you are giving only driver code? Why can't we give mapper code or reducer code? If suppose if I am going to give some other program, some other .class file, basically see, as you are having 3 .class files in this test.jar, that JVM should recognize the class which is having main method, because your execution should be started from main method only. But that main method is there in your driver code only, but not in your mapper code or reducer code. So out of these 3 classes, that JVM should recognize the class which is having main method. For that reason, we are giving what? Driver code here. Driver code here. So that your JVM can simply recognize that, okay, this driver code is having what? Main method, and it is just trying to start its execution from that main method. And that internally, in that main method, internally you are calling this mapper and what? Reducer classes. Okay, automatically those 2 also will be executed, and those programs will be executed on this file, and it is finally giving output in what? Test output directory. This can be a file or a directory, but this should be a directory. This can be a file or a directory which is having what? Multiple files, but this should be what? A directory only. Okay, so that directory will give what? Several output files as well as directories that we will see when we are doing practicals. Okay.